What's up everyone, welcome to Workshop Rebuild. Over the past 4 weeks, I've not uploaded one single long format video, and that's because I've had issues with the projects I've been working on. I've had issues with the parts I received, some of them are right here behind me, and I've had issues with some of the companies I've been working with to get some of these parts repaired. But in today's video, I'll share with you guys an update on all the projects I've been working on and what videos you can expect moving forward. The first parts I'll talk about are from the BMW R60/5. I'll give you guys an update on the cylinder heads because this is actually setting me back from an engine assembly video. These two cylinder heads need brand new valve guides and the seats have to be either recut or renewed. And the machine shop that I want to give these heads to is different from the machine shop that I usually give my engine blocks to because they are specialized on motorcycle parts, or at least motorcycle machining. So the guy that does the cylinder heads in that shop is actually on holidays and he'll be away for at least a month now. So I'm gonna have to wait for these cylinder heads to be machined. In the meantime, I ordered up 2 new intake valves and 2 exhaust valves, but that doesn't really help me because everything else is out of spec. Over here, I also have a camshaft that has to go to the machine shop. It needs a new keyway cut for the oil pump because the old one is no good anymore. But yeah, all this has to go to the machine shop and it might take a month from today until these are done or at least back in the shop and I can put them back together. So that's a small drawback, and I've really been looking forward to the engine assembly video because over here on this table, you'll notice I have a box full. It's a very big box full of engine parts from Euromote Electric. So I have a gasket kit, I have the main bearings, the connecting rod bearings, I have valve springs, I have a brand new oil pressure switch, and I have brand new valve covers for this engine and just other miscellaneous parts. This box is worth over $1,000 easily. So as you guys can tell, I have been preparing for the engine assembly video, but the cylinder heads aren't done yet. So we're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I know I'm looking forward to it just as much as you guys are, so hang tight. But right now, I'll share with you guys some more parts on this table for the BMW R60. Some other parts that I received a couple weeks ago, and this actually took me really long to do because I polished everything by hand, were the cadmium plated parts. So we have fasteners, hardware, and some other brackets and whatnot that have been cadmium plated. Even some springs. These right here are for the carburetors. So we have some little plates and we have the adjustment screws that have been cadmium plated as well. And there's just miscellaneous pieces of hardware in here. This took me actually 12 hours to polish up. So we also have some hardware for the hubs, and I'm really looking forward to share all of this with you guys once the assembly videos come around. Now on the left, I've been working on the BMW speedometer assembly. I've already taken it apart and I'm already working on the assembly process. Everything is ready to go, but I'm waiting on one little detail. And I have to find the old indicator light lenses. As you can see, we have a color green, red, orange, and blue. Those are the small ones right here in the middle of the screen. And down below, I ordered some other ones that I thought were very similar, but as you can see, they're just not similar. And even color-wise, the red is really red or the green is really green. And these down below are just far too translucent. So we have blue, green, and red, but it doesn't really look the same. And that's basically what I'm dealing with right now. To finish this assembly right here, I need indicator light lenses and then everything can go back together. As you can tell, I've been already working on the bucket of this speedometer. The brass bits have been cleaned up. It has been painted up inside and out. And I have a lot of brand new parts. So I even made some custom face plates. I measured everything myself and I gave this to a company abroad to laser cut it. And as you can tell, it looks really good. And hopefully, once everything is said and done, you guys can tackle a project like this yourself. As you guys can tell, I'm going to the smallest detail on the BMW R60/5 motorcycle project. I really want to find those indicator lenses so you guys can tackle this speedometer rebuild yourself and hopefully you'll have success. But right now, I'm going to share with you guys some updates on the John Deere 1445. I've received some parts over here that I've had issues with, and I'll explain it also in an upcoming video, especially when I do the engine rebuild. But I'm also going to share with you guys some other parts that I have over here from the John Deere 1445. So these parts are brand new from John Deere. These are for the Yanmar 3 TNV 82A engine. We have oversized pistons. The third piston is already at the machine shop. These are 3 brand new wrist pins and 6 snap rings to put the wrist pins into the pistons. Now, this piston is still the old one, as you can see, heavily scored on both sides. And when I brought the engine block to the machine shop, with the sleeves and with the pistons I received from Friday Parts, the machinist told me he would not advise me to put sleeves into this engine block. Now, the John Deere 855 that has a Yanmar 3 TN75 RJ engine will pop up right here on the left, and the 3 TNV 82A engine will pop up right here on the right, and you'll see the difference between these engine blocks. The left one has far more material around the coolant passageways, and the one off to the right has far less material around the coolant passageways. Now, the machinist told me if you install sleeves into this engine block, it'll weaken the engine block even if sleeves are installed and bored out to size, and it could cause way more warpage over time, and it could cause a failure in a much shorter time period as for the engine block off to the left. Hopefully the oversized pistons will do the right job and I will not have an early engine failure. I'll be speaking about this more in an upcoming engine rebuild video once I receive the engine block and I'm ready for an engine assembly video, because this engine assembly video will probably be earlier than the BMW engine assembly video. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested. On this table, I have some other parts laid out from the John Deere 1445. I have the left side of the transaxle. This right here is the housing. I have the shaft that goes all the way into the differential. And I also have the brake assembly and some spacers, snap rings, and bearings. The issue with this was the double lip seal that was all the way on the outside that rides on this surface right here was leaking. I did not see any damage on the seal specifically, and the spring was still intact or in place, but it was leaking, and I assume the shaft was worn a little bit too much. As you can see, the duster lip was riding on this surface and the sealing lip was riding on this surface. So what I'm going to do once I install the brand new seal into this cover, instead of pushing it all the way out, I'm going to just leave it 1 millimeter a little bit further in, and that should solve the issue with the sealing. That means the double lip seal will actually ride on a different surface on this shaft, and it should seal properly. Once I receive a new double lip seal, this can go all back together onto the machine, and I also cut myself a brand new gasket. That right there is a template. I usually do a template first just to make sure it's right, and then I cut it out of gasket material to install it onto the transaxle. But if you guys want to know how the John Deere 1445 looks like, it looks like a mess currently. I thought this was going to be an easy job, but it was not. I had to loosen off the transaxle on this side, especially with those bigger bolts, and as you can tell, that bolt right there didn't want to come loose, and that's what happened to that bolt. That's a very large bolt, and it just snapped in half. So that came off on this side. I had to actually pull it forward to then remove the left side of the transaxle off to the side, and there's also a brake mechanism right there that I have to consider once reinstalling it again. Once the parts are back from the machine shop for the John Deere 1445, I can share with you guys an engine update video before the engine assembly video. I really want you to understand why I'm going with oversized pistons instead of installing sleeves and original size pistons. So that will be a separate video, and then the engine rebuild will follow after that. Now, I still have some projects inside of the shop that I haven't worked on in quite some time, or I shouldn't probably be working on because I have so many projects already, but I still have the John Deere 332 and the Renault R5. So let's go check them out right now. So this right here is the John Deere 332. I made exactly one video about this tractor, and since then it has been sitting inside the shop. I brought it in before winter, so it's been sitting for a long time now, and as you can tell, yeah, it's really dusty. I haven't touched this thing since. It would probably fire right up, but I don't want to start it because I want to remove some of the panels around this tractor, especially the rear fender panel, and I want to see what's underneath this. It's probably oily, it's probably dirty, and it's probably dusty, and I want you guys to see all of this, and I want to share with you guys how I clean it up and see if there are any leaks on the rear hydraulic motor or even the transmission differential, whatever you want to call it, and we'll see what's underneath all of these panels. Now over here on this table, I actually have the Renault R5 engine. This is the 4-cylinder engine. I haven't touched it yet. It seems to be seized. As you can see, nothing is turning, not even the camshaft. It seems like it's solid. Up front is the timing chain, so we're gonna be removing everything on this engine. The engine goes all the way up to this point right here, or at least with the clutch. The clutch is in this area, and this right here is the transmission. So I'm gonna be tearing into this very soon, but as you can tell, I have a lot of BMW parts that are already on this shelf, and once I take anything like this apart, I also need some room to store these parts because I don't want them just loose or laying around, and then I'm probably going to lose something. Sure, I would probably recognize which parts are wrong, but once I start mixing things up, it's really hard to get organized again. So I like to keep things organized. As you can see on this table, I have parts from the John Deere, I have parts from the BMW, and I love to keep things organized. It's easier for me, but I hope it's also easier for you at home to understand, especially once I make these videos. As you guys can tell, I'm eager to get some parts back from the machine shop so I can put an engine back together. It will be the Yanmar engine before the BMW engine because these parts still have to get sent out once the guy's back from holidays. Once I get those parts back into the shop, it will be reassembled as well. Everything is already here for the BMW engine assembly, and I cannot wait to put that engine together because it will look awesome, but I bet you it'll also sound amazing once I get it up and running. If you guys have any questions about today's video, drop a comment down below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. If you guys have any video suggestions, or if you guys would like to see something specifically in the future, if it's for the BMW R60, if it's for the John Deere 1445, the 332, or any project that I'm working on, drop a suggestion down below and I'll try and implement that in an upcoming video so you guys will have more information on what you guys are looking for. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button down below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below because I will have updates on everything that I mentioned in today's video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in an upcoming video. Peace.